playing at the 10th round of World Juniors. He's playing against Semen Lomasov, and also another important game that would be going on is Arvind Chidambaram, who is playing white against Alexienko. So let's first take a look at the game between Praggnanandhaa, who is white, against Lomasov, and Pragg, as usual, begins with knight f3. Well, he has had good success with e4 in this event, but he played knight f3 here, and his opponent started off with d5. Pragg went for g3, so he's trying for an original game, and I think Praggnanandhaa would be very happy when his opponent made the move knight c6, because in a way this leads to some unconventional type of position. Now if you play the move bishop g2, then e5 would be pretty good for black, controlling the center. So Pragg went for d4, and with this move he has kind of transposed the game into a Chigorin defense, where g3 line is not very particularly played often. So Lomasov went for bishop f5. The bishop stands well here on this square, and it is well, he wants to play e6 next, so he got his bishop out. Also sometimes you have the ideas of queen d7 and bishop h3. So Pragg went bishop g2 and e6, castle, and knight went to b4. Now knight b4 attacks the pawn on c2, and there is really maybe knight e1 and knight a3, two ways to defend this pawn. So instead of undeveloping, Pragg went for knight a3. I think this is a fine move, and now knight f6 was played. So I think this is where Pragg had to decide. I would have maybe thought c3 is logical, because after knight c6 you move back the knight and you have a fine position. Also possible was knight h4, pursuing this bishop in order to win it. So that's also one of the possible ideas. However, Pragg went for bishop f4. Not at all a bad move, just developing his piece. And if I am right, this is where things stand at the moment. I don't think Lomasov has made his move after bishop f4. Pragg went for bishop f4 after 12 minutes of thought. So he has had his thought in this position. I'm trying to understand and have a fresh look at this position. It's really a new kind of a system. I don't see any theory, so I'm assuming black would go something like bishop d6, when Pragg could go knight e5, and we would have some very original game. And I think this is good news for Indian fans, because Pragg thrives in such positions. He likes fresh ones. So well, that's interesting game for you, and we will keep you updated as things go on. Another game which is of interest for us is Arvind playing on board 2 against Alexienko, and it's very interesting because Pragg is on 7.5 points, Alexienko is on 8. So Arvind, if he beats Alexienko, he clears way for Praggnanandhaa to become the World Junior Champion in some way. So let's have a look at this game very quickly. It was a theoretical battle. Arvind is white, Alexienko is black, and they went for the Rai Lopez. This is all standard stuff. Bishop e7, rook e1, b5, bishop b3 was played, and now Alexienko went for castle, which clearly shows his intention that he would want to play the marshal in case Arvind went for something like c3, d5 could be played. So Arvind went for the anti-marshal line with a4, and after bishop b7, d3 was played. So this is not the most ambitious setup for white, but of course it has been played many number of games. D6, knight went to C3, knight A5, bishop A2, B4, knight E2, C5. So black has good central control in the position, but white's plan is simple. He has his pieces nicely placed on the king side. The bishop is looking down the diagonal, and he would at some point want to play C3 and D4. This is how usually play continues in such positions. So Alexienko made bishop C8, which was a surprising move over here. He wants to place his bishop back to E6, control the F5 square. And Arvind broke with C3, rook B8 and D4. I think white already has a small edge here. I mean, this is already very nice position. And he took B takes C3 and he played queen C7. So although it seems like the position is equal, if you give it to a computer, it would say somewhat equal position. I think that once again the position is rich, and I have seen Arvind playing such positions very well. When I was in the national premiere a few days ago, he had a similar kind of a position against SL Narayanan, and then he launched a devastating kingside attack. So we can look for something like that, although I am not really sure how that would work out here. But yeah, some plans could include H3, maybe bring your knight from H2 to G4 on the king side, and try to somehow build some play on that wing. So as for now, I would say both the games, Arvind versus Alexienko, Praggnanandhaa versus Lomasov, they both look sort of even, and anything can happen. So first half an hour, we are like first 45 minutes into the game, and it's anybody's game right now. So we are going to be in here for a long time. I'll be coming back soon with some live updates for you, but until then, enjoy this fantastic day of chess. Let's hope that Pragg and Arvind both win today.